I'm looking you in the eyes, and I'm smiling. Our hands are together, and though something begins to grip at them, I don't look away. I'm looking right at you. What?
No, you hurt. What are you doing? Stop it.
You see scales beginning to break from my skin. Red scales across my cheeks. Oh. What's...
No, this isn't right. No, don't take...
Oh.
I don't want you to... I don't know what's happening. But...
Our hands. There's something binding them together.
It's your blood, is what it is. Too much is flowing out of you. You'll pass out soon. I have to stop the bleeding. I can't loosen my grip. I can't move my hand. I feel like all the strength is being pulled from me right now.
I think I know exactly what this is.
Don't you go dying on me.
No.
It's not worth it. I'm not worth it. Stop it! Help!
Malavik, this is a promise. A blood bond. It seems that our words are heavier than we might have originally expected. But I meant them, so I am not scared.
It's a sorcery. This is not of your doing. This is not of my doing. This is something else's. And I look down and I see the ground vibrating and the air itself vibrating around me. It's the land. We're on cursed land. This is what it's doing. I don't want you to die for me. I don't want you to sacrifice yourself for me.
I'm not going to die. I tighten my fingers around your arm, trying to give you comfort.
I'm at the same time trying to stop the bleeding, but I can't move. Oh, my head. What is this? Sheila, I'm sorry.
You begin to see images of a war-stricken land. You see orcs moving in tribes over a field of skeletons. The flash is gone.
You begin to see a mother holding her child. And different images flash, timelines go through. An 8-year-old boy whose mother scolded him for breaking a vase. And then the anger raises in his body. Skin turns red. Horns sprout. Scales form. The mother looks afraid. The kid lashes at his mother in anger. Cuts her across the chest. She's bleeding heavily. She takes a pot and hit him in the head, and he falls to the ground. Another flash of her acting as if she loves him, to abandon him deep in a wooded area where there was told to be wolves that feed on flesh. Scared, lost, angry. No, what? You have to stop this. I was on a battlefield. There were so many bones and skeletons and undead. What is this?
I pull you towards me, and I hug you into an embrace.
I accept it.
It's okay.
I don't want to be a monster anymore, and I don't want you to become one.
Malavik, you are no monster. I promise. We will figure this out together, all right?
Why would you do this for me?
Because you are my friend.
Fine. I give in. And then I let the rest of my body weight fall forward. For the first time, I'm not tense, I'm not flexing, I'm not angry. Just know what you're getting yourself into. I don't know how far this part of me will go, how much it will grow. But as long as you're there, I feel like I can push through.
And I will be there.
And I will protect you as much as I can. But if it ever comes down to a me or you situation, I will be the one to take the blame, the burden from you. That is my promise.
I say nothing as I hold you. And our arms eventually let go. Do you feel better?
I feel something. Strength is back in me, but I feel different.
Me too. I feel changed, almost.
Let's hope it's
Somebody
not.
call for help. Oh, it's a lot of blood.
Yes,
I'll suddenly, not push away violently, but gently,
yes, Karun. My hand, it won't stop bleeding.
Gross.
Why is there blood?
Anyway.
I didn't do anything. I didn't hurt her.
What
I-
hurts?
Can you bandage it, Yara?
Yes, let me have a look at it. Taking a look at this, does it seem like it is natural that the flow of blood? Does it seem that it is natural?
So here's what you see. As you take Arcelia's hand to look at this wound, you see that the blood has stopped. Arcelia, you do not see that. When you look towards the wound, it's almost as if your blood is continuously flowing towards Malavik's hand. And Malavik, on your hand, you can see sort of a mirror of Arcelia's wound. To you, Yara, it would look like a scar on Malavik's hand.
Let me have a look at yours as well.
It won't stop. It won't stop. It's
No, you. These are both scarred. It looks as if you've had them for a while now.
It's pointing towards him. It's moving. You don't see that?
No, am I crazy? Karun, Rashtak, do you see this?
It is.
I don't want to look. It's gross.
we must get away from this part of the land.
What did you do?
I did
As you
nothing.
say this, Malavik, you begin to feel this first very shallow beat. Like a heartbeat. Except it's coming from the ground below you.
There. I'll bend down and I'll put the scarred hair on top of the place where I'm feeling the vibrations. Yeah.
Hear what?
It's like... it's hard to explain. A tree, underneath a tree there's many roots, yes?
Yes.
Roots that entangle and go places, that's what This is like the same thing, but veins almost pulsating with blood, maybe. Not blood, something power.
The ley lines?
Explain to me what these ley lines are.
May I conduct an arcana check?
Sure, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for any kind of spooky nonsense that's going on between these two.
Mm-hmm. You can definitely make an arcana check.
23.
Okay. There's no specific spell that you are aware
Okay.
of that does what is happening here. However, you have a pretty good general feeling for what has happened. There's so much magic that is moving through these ley lines that they have inadvertently used some of it in some sort of ritual. They've performed blood magic.
Ugh.
What is it?
Well, it's blood magic. You see, you've done something, I'm not sure what, but there's a lot of magic here in the ley lines, and whatever you've done is very gross. It's very powerful and disgusting.
Ley lines. Magical power source.
Think of it as the veins of Golarion.
Like a tree.
Power. Yes, or roots.
No. Can you not feel it? And I'll take both hands. Yeah, it's rich right here. It's like, it reminds me of an artery of some sort. It's like consistent flow. Pounding almost. You cannot feel it reverberating in your body.
I kneel down and try to feel the same.
As soon as you open up your senses, Arcelia, as soon as you focus on words that are coming out of Malavic's mouth about this, and Karun suggesting what you have done, you can feel this pulse
Reverberating.
of Golarion.
Pulsing. It's like all coming together.
I feel it too.
Almost like a rhythmic drum beat. No, something more
It's
heavy.
like a heartbeat.
Yeah. Do you all not feel it?
The blood
Come.
that you see pulsing from your wound seems to match the rhythm of the beat.
I think we may have become bonded with it.
You've tapped into its power. You can feel it, I am guessing.
Yes, I think that is what happened.
What have we done? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yara, can you not see the blood?
No,
I'm
no,
afraid
darling,
she's
I
gon-
cannot. I promise you, they cannot either. Let me see. If I press down on his hand, covering the wound, Malavik, do you see anything still seeping from it, even if I'm applying pressure?
You would probably see Malavik, like blood sort of leaking through Yara's fingers, unimpeded.
Yeah, it's just like, it's almost like you're not even an obstacle for it. It just finds its way. Let me see your hand. And I look at her hand. Nothing. But it's still flowing. It went around your arm. It went around your hands, between the cracks, everywhere. Slower, but it formed.
Here. Your hand. And I reach out to yours, Malavik.
Yeah.
I'd like to detect magic, but ignore the ley lines specifically, since I know it is there.
Ooh, okay. I think I'm going to need a check for you to try to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Occultism or Arcana? Do you think? Blood magic is the reason I was thinking occultism.
I will take either. I'm fine with either.
At 23, occultism.
Okay. So, it's really hard to avoid sensing this magic, Rashtak. It's the equivalent of seeing, like with night vision goggles or something. You know, like the barest like hint of a reflection in the night vision goggles versus someone pouring a 10,000 candle power flashlight into your night vision goggles. Describe what you think that what happens here.
I would stumble back for a moment, being overwhelmed by the magic I see, for lack of a better term. Though, maybe I get a very slight hint of red from his hand, but everything else is so bright, it's almost imperceptible. You've tapped into something you probably should not have.
Blood magic. Blood magic is always gross.
Blood magic.
Is there a need to reverse this? What is it doing to them?
I
don't know.
I don't know magic.
Feel fine.
I feel. Can't describe it. It feels like it's like when you're weary and you're tired, and then you eat something, and then you get your energy back, but 10 times folded. There were shamans back at where I grew up, and there was talks of blood magic. It was forbidden, but there was always one there that delve into this. I came across them multiple times, of them taking our dead and animals and performing rites and getting angry every time it didn't work. But the one thing, they knew I was watching, thought I was interested. I wasn't. I was just curious as to why they were doing such things, and they said something that this type of magic is very powerful, but comes with very strong consequences. That when one performs such rites, it could lead to dire. Dire means the more strong the blood magic, the stronger the consequence.
Whack. I have lizard folk lore as a knowledge, and lizard folk are known for being very shamanistic in many of their tribes. Does this ring any bells, or should I roll, or not worry?
You can definitely try.
16.
So here's what I'll tell you with a 16. I think you only have a very vague knowledge about this stuff. You do have some knowledge, and that is, number one, blood magic is very powerful and very dangerous. Number two, your knowledge of ley lines is pretty limited. The fact that blood magic is already powerful and dangerous, and combining them Sounds crazy.
I think you've done something you should not have, but I know not of what to reverse it by. You've, as Karun has mentioned, used blood magic, which is exceptionally dangerous. Shamans of my tribe would not mess with it. I do not know much about it as a result. And combining that with a ley line, what you have done may have consequences we will not know until you trigger them, and it will not be good.
Yeah.
Then we will have to be careful until we can discover more information.
Oh, what did you do to initiate this ritual?
I am no spellcaster, but I cut my hand. I just made a promise.
Oh, what promise?
That Malavik would not have to go through his struggles alone. That I would protect him. I would help him, no matter the cost.
And
As
To her.
Arcelia says these words, you can hear them echo off of the mountains nearby.
You made a pact.
I promise to be her strength, your blade. I will not see her fall.
Best hope you don't.
There's more. There was a battlefield in a vision. Lots of undead, skeletons, things. War. All around me.
A boy. And his mother. Perhaps we are linked beyond just flesh.
You do not break those promises. Whatever
There were
you
scales.
do.
There were scales. And I go to look at her hand, her face. Hey.
The scales are gone from my face now.
Oh. And for a second there, I thought you contracted what I. Oh, thank goodness you're not suffering. No horns, no tail. Okay,
No, I don't think so.
good. I wouldn't want this to be a part of you.
I might suggest you never leave each other's side. You
Might
have
be
no
for the better.
idea how literal this pact may be.
I have something to tell you all. I didn't want to go down this road with this. I didn't know how long we were going to be together or whether we would continue to be companions. I come from a line. I don't know much, but I was told. Tiefling is a name that is given to us. We are formed from two different sides of the worlds, two different planes of existence. When a pact or a bond of the flesh, the mind, or some even deeper than that are formed, something happens. A lot, call it forbidden. I was told that they may skip generations, but it definitely didn't skip me. There are beings called planar scions, powerful beings that have unimaginable power. Some of the demonic variety, some of the angelic. My mother met a man, beautiful man, from what I was told. Everyone knew him, everyone felt some charm. Anytime they saw him, they almost felt like being on their knees. There is a a saying that some of the most powerful scions can disguise themselves in groups of people you will never know. This man unmistakably fell in love with one of his many nights of frolicking. Now it is said that it's almost impossible for such a being to impregnate a normal human elf. But if it does happen, the chance of that being living through birth is low, depending on how powerful that scion is. And unfortunately, my father is not just your ordinary planar scion. He is of a ancient red dragon variety. A demonic red dragon. Galarian, as you know, was once ruled by these creatures. When I was born, there were no signs. Until I reached about the age of 8 years old. I stripped the memories from my brain a long time ago, but they were between the room where we went and had our memories exchanged to now. Things have come back. I always thought that the change happened in a beautiful meadow full of flowers. But no. My mother was angry, upset. She was with child. She tried to love me, but I kept making mistakes, kept showing signs. Something would catch on fire when I was sleeping. I had no idea how or why. I was getting picked on in the streets. People would call my mother a whore. They would lash out. When I lashed out, things happened. I'd lose consciousness, wake up, and the kid would be bleeding or worse. My mother had to leave the cities, find a cottage. She tried to treat me normal, but my eyes' color would change. I would broaden. My fingers would become more elongated. Her love would seep away just as much as my humanity. I did something, spilled a pot, something. She scolded me, threw hot water on me, slapped me. I blinked. I lashed out. I ripped across her chest. Nothing fatal. I noticed what I was doing when I was doing it, and I pulled back and I tried to say I was sorry. She took that hot pan and hit me with it as hard as she could. The next thing you knew, I was in this forest. Curses were being made, yelling, screaming. Then the pitchforks came, and the torches, and the mobs. She sold me out. They chased me. Wolves were in that forest. I got attacked. I thought I was dead. I was found by a group of hunters. Said I was barely alive, but the wounds were closing, but slowly. As the wounds closed, the scales came, the horns, the tail. First, they treated me as a worker. They noticed as I grew, I became stronger. They trained me, turned me into a weapon. But to me, that was my family. The shamans knew of what I was. They didn't know the connection. I'm sorry I kept this from you. I have this promise I made, this pact, now that I remember, around a shamanistic circle. I noticed that the shamans not so much prayed, but they would practice in these circles and hope for something so much that it would become true. So I did the same. I said that if I ever came across a dragon, I'd kill it. I'd take its life for ruining my life until I reached him. So now you see where my hate and my affinity comes from. Every fiber of my being overruns and overtakes. When I see one, I just want to rip its chest open and take the one thing that keeps it going. That is my story. That is who I am. A monster who was never loved, never given the chance. And now, all I care about is finding him and turning him inside out, so I can see what he has done to me. The danger that comes in with this is that I feel myself changing every year. These scales grow, the horns lengthen, the aches in my back, my spine. I feel it growing inside of me. The rage is uncontrollable at times. That beast can be unleashed at any time. And I was afraid to be around to get close to any of you, because I don't know what would happen. But on this day, this very moment, the beast has been quelled. I don't know what you've done, Arcelia. I feel like I'm in more control.
I believe that you are stronger than your anger.
We shall have to find out. I will not hurt you willingly, any of you. But if you have to contain me, if you have to put me down, do so.
You have been here for us through so much. Since you first met us, you've been nothing but helpful and kind. Sure, there have been difficulties. I look over to Arashtak. Perhaps some miscommunication, but I think that I can speak for all of us that you are trying your best. And there is always room for everyone to grow.
Well, I have not told you this until now. I accept you all companionship. I will do what I can to help protect you. But do know that, as I said before, consequences come, whether they're good or bad. I do not know if even my father knows who I am, if he knows I exist, or cares. But if we ever come across him, you run. And don't look back. No matter what happens. I don't think it'll come to that, because who knows how many of me are out there. They gallivant, they do what they want to do. But I will say we're seeing more dragons than I have seen in my upcoming of age lately. The land is changing. Something is bringing them about. We have to be ready for everything. We need to get to that spot where we are destined to go immediately. I have a bad feeling about what's about to happen. These ley lines are not natural. At least they don't feel like it. But I have things to do before that day comes. I want to find your sister. I want to take Karun back to Laskialua. I want to show Arashtak the shamanistic people of my tribe for better understandings. And I say, I want you to travel and get as much knowledge as you can before whatever's about to happen happens. And I'll stand up. It's funny how everything rests on our shoulders. How many of us are out there that's willing to do this?
We may find even more allies. But that's why there are 5 of us. It is split evenly regardless. We shoulder it together. Yes?
And what do we do for those that have fallen? What good does it do them? They must have family, friends, companions that need them, want them around. What kind of excuse do we make for them? The doctor sends people out to their deaths. We could have died so many times.
The fallen choose to try and make a better tomorrow. At least the ones that we've had. There's no excuse to be made. And, you would notice that I have a coin in my hand that I've been running my thumb along this entire conversation. It is not up to us to give excuses. It is up to us to show that their sacrifice was not for nothing. To the families that they were important. As they were. So. Don't feel bad about it. We need to keep our heads up. We need to work through all of this. Each step of the journey. Together.
Wait. Your companion that fell. Ley lines. There could be some connection there as well. Maybe one day we could find a way to bring them back through ley lines if possible. It seems like this magic is on. It's great. I every time I touch it, I feel it reverberating through my whole body. It's like it needs to be studied more. We should get going. I wasted too much of your time.
It is not a waste.
No. And I take it as Celia did not inform you. If you return to this place in but a few years, the pool will work again.
Yes. I hadn't gotten to that part.
Will it work on me if I'm born with this? Do you believe that it can
removes curses? It should.
I don't know if this is a curse. It's part of me.
It's worth a try, at least.
There are also many avenues we can still explore yet. There's the divine. There is confronting your father. Perhaps there is more information to be had from him. As much as you want to tear his throat out.
There's bits and pieces of memories that are not my own. They're fragmented, very fragmented. Lessons. Maybe teachings, maybe a part, I don't know. I've heard that once you're a part of this thing, it becomes a part of you. It's almost like you're an extension of who they are. There is I would have to take more time, but there is something there. I almost feel like I know how to do what he did when he disguised himself as a normal person. Maybe I could do the same. Maybe I could at least not look like this. But am I not better than him if I do the same thing? I don't accept who I am. It's a trick to make people think that I'm something that I'm not. That doesn't make things better. It makes it worse in the end, because then I'm just lying to them.
It depends on how you act. Look.
I'll accept this. Curse may it be or not. When we do go into public cities, do not worry about me. I won't lash out. At least I won't try to. But they will look at me strange. They will call me names. They will throw stuff at me. Maybe I'll just wait outside.
The only
I
way that
won't
sort of
throw
thing
anything.
changes is if they are exposed to it, no? Do not shy away because people are cruel. It takes strength to stand up to them. And you have a lot of that.
We shall see. So,
I lean over to Karun. Though if you were to throw anything, you would be very good at it. You throw quite a lot of things.
on our way. Where our next location that we go when we find it. Let's make a promise to each other. If we cross paths of anything that you are looking for, we handle that situation as we go along. If we come across a place, Yara, that you see that your sister has been, or maybe strike a memory, don't be afraid to tell us. But from now on, we don't keep secrets or anything from each other. Agreed.
I thought my sister to be dead, actually.
What? You never mentioned this.
Well, I avoided it. I didn't say she was alive at any point. It was just an assumption. But, do you remember in the memory cache when they were asking us for a core memory? Something important? My memory was of my sister Vera. My final moments with her. I was a field medic for those on the front lines of the Gravelands. And my sister was a ferocious fighter. The creatures there, they are formidable, to say the least, and my sister was returned to me in a state beyond my capabilities. When we were in the memory cache, that was the memory that I offered. But they rejected it. And I still do not understand why, but they whispered to me that it was some sort of divine intervention, some sort of happenstance that made it so that the memory was altered. So, either she is dead, or I never had a sister, or she's alive, I don't know. just, did not want to make it anyone's problem, but you keep bringing her up, so I figure I would let you know that my memories are altered as well, and I have no grasp on it. I don't even know who I am, really, so I suppose we shall find out along the way.
Not only do we find out, we can all start today to become something better than what we were yesterday. You are Yara, our proud healer, who saved us on many occasions, who brought us back from the brink of death, who is braver than she puts on, who's not afraid to run into heat of battles to save a companion, to risk our own skin, and to curse herself so that one of us lives. That's who I know you are. That's a memory that you can store right now until we find the others. In my people, you would be a shield maiden, a protector of those who cannot protect themselves, who may not have the strength of a frontliner, but has the mental capability to break the lines of the possible. I have seen you lift us up from the worst wounds ever. So with that, you start today as who you are.
Makes you wonder why the divine stick their nose isn't fucking anything, really. Must mean that we have a lot to figure out with this whole thing.
It's not much, but if we are speaking open and honestly, it might be best for you to not speak of my patronage. I follow the Mosquito Witch. I may have mentioned, may have not. She is not looked upon well. Many consider her evil. She is not to me. But other witches and others who know of her only see her as pestilence and draining of life. She is more complex. But it would be wise to not mention her, or else it will bring... You would not want to be associated with me at that point. Her wake is usually death, though. But it brings life. It is the cycle.
Why are you here, Rostok? Why are you not with your people? It is rare to see your type, your kind, running about.
I was cast out. I am in exile.
Oh.
I can never return.
Seems we have more in common than we thought.
If you could return, would you want to?
No. The family I have left would only be harmed. So, I would never return. Most don't want me there anyway. I am seen as an abomination. So, I am better with others and not my own.
What if you start your own tribe?
That would require a mate, which would require me to find others of my kind.
You can always take one. That was a joke. Because you... Sorry, I tried to be funny, but it doesn't really work as much as it works with you, so
It's all right.
You never know what we might come across, though.
It is true, but I do not follow the ways of my people. Starting a tribe would be almost sacrilegious. We are shamans by nature. I am not.
You chose a different path.
Yes.
Would you say, in our own way, that perhaps we are your tribe?
I'd rather not. Actually, I do not mean that as an insult. I do not wish for a tribe. I wish for companions.
Which you have.
Yes, I do.
Good.
I do.
Karun, you're back to, from what I've heard, your normal self. I didn't know that was even a thing.
Yes, if we are sharing, then I had a lovely childhood and my parents love me very much. And secrets and lies are for lesser creatures. So, that's all.
Can I do an insight check?
It'd be a perception check, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, holy shit.
Natural 20!
Into a
Karun is
33.
dead serious.
Oh. Oh,
So-
you're serious.
So your life was perfect.
That's right.
Then why are you here?
Because I like you.
No, before us.
Well,
The
I'm
gate.
curious, I think. I really want to know, you know, a little bit more about the world.
Interesting. Well,
Also, I'm completely fine with making a little promise to not have any more secrets or whatever you were scheming, but also, can we say maybe no more blood magic? Because it is very gross.
I believe that we weren't doing it. Arcia wasn't performing blood magic out of a practice or
No, I understand.
Intentional.
It's icky.
Yes, no more cutting open hands. How about that?
if you start feeling any changes, please let me know.
Only if you promise the same.
Well, now that we all know a good bit about each other, we should probably get going. I'm pretty sure they're worried.
Perhaps.
Hmm.
The group sort of left behind Denigi and Sakawachi at the place where the bones were being buried. The 2 sets of bones that were found inside the Miroga. What do you do now?
I'm going to head back.
As we begin heading back, I would like to put my arm over Arashtak's shoulders and give him a hug.
He doesn't hug back, but it's just because he doesn't really get it.
I'm squeezing you out of affection.
And he then puts his arm around you and probably squeezes too hard.
Impossible. I'm made out of pure muscle. You bounce right off.
That is true. Do we return to the sleeping wolves, or do we scout more towards the hobgoblins? They are
I
coming
don't know
soon.
about the rest of you, but I could probably use a little bit of a rest.
Yes.
I'm a
We
little
should,
bit sweaty.
Yes, I'll suggest, I'll say, once we perform the rites of these two individuals for Skywatch and Denigi. We should create a fire in the cave while we have downwind. Nothing big that will smoke us out, but enough to get warm, and there's a lake inside. I feel like we are lucky to be able to bathe and rest and look over our wounds. I am feeling like I'm losing energy with every step.
I'll go begin to gather some wood for the fire. We set up camp, yes?
Yeah, I will look for some game to hunt if there's any around.
While we
I
are
would be-
preparing to set up camp, I do want to look and see if there are any other signs of, outside of the cave or any other directions, if there are any other signs of human life or humanoid life, I should say. As we did hear about the Smiling Wolves men that went missing.
Mm-hmm.
We could assume that the second bit of corpse was them, but I'd still like to double check.
Sure. Make a perception check.
Natural 20 for 29.
Wow. Okay. So here's what you find, Yara. You find some clothing. Maybe amongst some of the viscera. Leathers and such. They could really belong to anybody. But there is something that gives you an indication that this person was a member of the Smiling Wolves. There's a, I think a dagger that you find. It's been sort of destroyed, but there is a maker's mark on it that you would remember from some of the various supplies that you saw in the Smiling Wolves camp.
I will hold on to this dagger until we return to the camp. I believe I've figured out who the second body is. The man that went missing from the Smiling Wolves camp. This belonged to him. It has their mark. So it looks like we have no friend of theirs to bring back, but at least we don't have to keep looking.
If you've returned back to the cave area, you'd see Denigi and Skywatch kind of looking expectantly towards you as you return. I think as you sort of begin to look around and you find this stuff, whoever sort of speaks to Skywatch and Denigi, they're obviously very upset about losing Pamak. But they inquire if you're okay and if everyone's all right. And I think Skywatch would probably mention to you, "Are we returning to the Smiling Wolves camp? Willikuk and Inuma are probably very worried. We've been gone most of the day."
Look to the others. Do we wish to camp here, or should we head back, you think? We have very limited time before the hobgoblins arrive.
Time is not on our side. I believe with Denigi back, if you wish to return to your companions, Skywatch, I believe Denigi is more than capable of getting you back.
What time is it?
It's late afternoon now. I mean,
How long is the trip?
to the Smiling Wolves?
Mhm.
Probably an hour.
Which means that the stars are going to start coming out soon, right?
I would say probably by the time you get there, if you left now.
Maybe it would be wise to head back.
All right, let's go. But when we get there, I'm crafting a spyglass.
Also, I may have a small job for you as well, Karun, if you will.
What kind of small job?
I'll unbuckle the hatchet and spin it around on the handle hilt and pull out a rune. I would like for you to... This is a rune of return. And a hatchet, if you could... I'll try to... Doesn't work well.
No. Careful. Let me see. I take it. Is this something that I could work with? Yeah?
I mean, you built a ladder that can fold.
Surely. I will need to work on it for some time, but I could probably do it tonight if we get there soon enough, and I am not disturbed.
I'll make sure you're not disturbed.
Why don't you take it for now and give it back to me when we are through with the journey?
Fine, I'll take it back.
I will do it tonight.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Then we forfeit camp and we make our way there. We can rest when we are at their camp instead.
Yes.
Are we taking the bodies or are we doing the rites here?
I believe the intention was to do the rites here. And I would look to Skywatch.
Skywatch sighs, and Denigi sort of nods. If it would be possible to return Pamak to our home,
Yes,
that would be best. But I do not expect we will be returning soon.
We could take the bodies with us.
How would you do such a thing?
Carry it.
Open my bag of holding.
Oh.
Magic.
What sort of magic?
It is bigger on the inside.
You could bring Pamak's body inside that small bag?
One of us could. We have a couple of these. I look
Just
to Yara.
Just a point of contention out of character. I'm sure we would have checked on the remaining insides that we have from Adronis in that bag. Has
It's
it
only
decayed
air.
whatsoever?
It's a
There's
good
no
question.
air in there. They're not supposed to. I believe it keeps everything at the same place. I think we looked at that last time.
Yeah, which is why we can't put like organic things in there,
Right.
Yeah.
living things, because they would die.
Gotcha. Okay, the reason I asked is because I did not take gentle repose.
You said that out of character. I don't think...
Yes, all of this
Malavik
is
does not know that the head is in there, so that's...
no.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Denigi
just says.
Denigi and Skywatch just kind of like look at each other, and Skywatch says, "It would not cause an imposition."
Wrap it in a blanket, the body, for ease of removal and placement. I think that would be the wisest. But we can use this bag. I have no issue.
And I will also take
There's like a
the
tear
smiling
that's
fellow.
there's like a tear that's just falling down the corner of Skywatch's eye. That would be most appreciated.
I'll let them wrap Pamak's body as they wish, and then, with Yara's help, place him in one of the bags of holding.
Sure.
Mm.
It'll take a little while, but you're able to do that. Danigi is probably the one that helps and, asks Sakawachi to assist you with whatever you need. But after some time you do that. Are you heading back to the Smiling Wolves camp?
Before we do, I would like to also make sure we gather up the remains of the Smiling Wolves member as well. It's only right if we're doing it for them.
Okay. Very well.
I will not be touching it.
Okay. Are you headed out?
Yes,
go.
quickly, and only so that I can go to sleep.
Sure. So, Sakawachi will guide you. Ooh, that's a good one.
Just guidance, apparently.
Do.
Yes, I always do cast guidance on her when she is looking to the stars, so that would be another +1. But it's if she needs it.
I think she just got a 30-something, so I think you
Ah,
guys are
she
good.
also has the astrolabe.
Uh-huh.
So why not have even more numbers?
I'm just double-checking, but yeah. Oh, yeah, you crushed it. Okay.
Yeah.
I just forgot what the bonus was. I knew it was something I've seen. Okay. Sakawachi has no trouble guiding you back with this astrolabe and with guidance. You make your way back through the confusing illusionary magic of Skywatch, returning to the Smiling Wolves camp. You are greeted outside by Yana, who is keeping guard outside the camp. Oh, I see you have returned. Welcome back.
Yes.
Greetings.
Greetings. Are you well? Is anyone hurt?
I'm great, thank you.
We were mostly successful. Unfortunately, we have bad news about the smiling wolf that we were looking.
I see. You should speak with Mats.
Yes. We will make our way.
As you pass, Yana says, "Thank you."
I offer a consoling squeeze of their shoulder.
She just kind of pats your hand, nods as you walk past. You can hear them like take a deep breath and straighten their stance as they guard.
Before we go, I'd like to offer my hand to whoever's holding the dagger we found.
Oh yeah, much the same thoughts. Would you like it?
Yes, please.
I'll hand
take
it over.
Perhaps you would know who this would be best to give to. And I offer the dagger out to them. It was theirs.
Yes, I think this was his choice. The life of a mercenary. She takes a moment and then hands it back to you and says, yes, return this to Mats, I think.
Are you sure?
Yes. Mats
Alright.
is our... we think of ourselves like a family here. One that is very interested in money, yes, but we try to look after each other as best as we can, and Mats is a good leader.
All right.
As
And
night falls, as Yana returns the dagger to you, or what
I will
remains of it.
hand it back to Yara and join the others heading into the camp.
You head for Matt's tent, or where do you go?
Yes.
Okay. I don't like to make assumptions. So
We should speak to Mats before we go get rest, I think.
Agreed.
Yes, handing over the bodies as well.
Perhaps this is where we should let Sakawachi and Denigi rejoin their companions.
Sakawachi and Denigi will just sort of nod to you and say, I will let Ulikuk and Inuma know what has happened. When you are ready, we can perform. We have a ceremony when someone dies. If you would like to be a part of it, you may.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
not.
I think I'll follow them since I have Pamak in my bag. To help them get that ready so they can take the time they need.
We will catch up with you. And I will head towards Matt.
I'm going to go with Karun.
Let's get out of here.
Yes. I will follow.
The crafting tent away.
Best of luck.
Hmm.
I will be heading with Arcelia.
I'm frantically trying to find the name of the other person from the Smiling Wolves that you knew, Yorif. Yorif is standing guard outside of Matt's tent. He sees you approach and he nods his head. Matt is inside if you wish to talk with him.
Yes, thank you. You doing all right?
Trying to stay busy. It is not my turn to go out into Skywatch. From what Matt has said, we only have a few days before we see more Obsidian Outriders. So we are taking shifts, making sure that someone is always remaining in camp and some are always searching for more loot.
Did you happen to have any new recruits come in? We came across a bit of trouble towards the Mystic Market.
Yes, there was someone who stumbled into the camp. There was a very boisterous sort of conversation that happened between Matt and them.
Well, hopefully they're more help than trouble.
I think that is a common occurrence with any of the new recruits for the Smiling Wolves.
Well, no matter what, I'm sure that you can handle it.
Are you well? Did you find any trouble in the city?
Lots of it. We've had so much trouble, but we're all right.
Well, that is good to hear. As long as you make it back with all of your body parts and a smile on your face, that is a good day. That is the Smiling Wolves motto, at least.
Thank you. And as I begin to approach the tent, Yara, you might notice that I am actively cupping my hands together, almost as if trying to hide the scar that is on my right hand. And
I'll
I step
squeeze your
inside.
shoulder.
We've returned.
I see that. Welcome back. I had the pleasure of speaking with that mercenary that came by. Thank you for sending them by. You are always thinking of me, I see.
Well, to be honest, it seems like the best solution. Things are difficult out here, and perhaps we could use the help.
Yes, that will be good. If we only have a few days before the Obsidian Raiders reinforce the city, I think it is best if we have as much help as possible. Plus, it is a good opportunity to see if they will try to stab us in the back.
Yara, do you want to...
Yes, of course.
You see Matt sort of sniffing the air a little bit.
Are you sure you are not hurt?
He looks towards you, Arcelia. Questioning look on his face.
Sniff myself. I suppose I could use a bath. Nothing but a few scrapes and tumbles. Got a new scar. Show off my new scar. Yep. Yara?
That almost sounds to me like you need to make a deception check, but I'm not your GM.
I will ask for a deception check, yes.
I am canonically a bad liar. 14.
Uh-huh. Matt says an eyebrow raised and he nods his head.
I see.
I look pleadingly to Yara, fully blushing.
Yes, unfortunately we encountered, a dragon.
I'm sorry?
Yes. I am not kidding. Or, what was it called? Did she name it?
Miroga.
A Miroga.
What? This is a... what? Where? Did it destroy the city? I don't see any smoke or flames.
No.
I would be happy to tell you exactly what it is. And I pull out my journal and I go into special interest, full over info dumping mode about Miroga.
I feel like we have a Gatewalkers montage that happens periodically when this music comes on. It's like the Gatewalkers montage, which is like, like we see all these dramatic angles of like explanations and pointing and diagrams and things.
Little stick figures.
Yep.
And then Malefic ate its heart.
Why?
Why not?
Everyone has their customs, I suppose. I am glad that you are all right. This sounds very troubling.
And along with this, we did find answers about Chisoi, and the companion of Sakawachi and Deniki.
I assume since they are not with you, these are bad tidings that you bring.
I would pull out the dagger and offer it to him.
It is very sad, but Hisoi was a... Hisoi would not appreciate us being sad on their behalf. Hisoi would want us to remember the good times. And there were many. But I appreciate you bringing this back.
There's more. I do also have in my bag here his remains, should you wish for them. We brought them back.
Ah, magic bag. Yes, that would... we will have a bonfire tonight. Then we will... have a celebration of Hiso's life, not a sad passing of their death. That is what we do here at the Smiling Wolves. We remember the good times.
And if you would permit it, perhaps tonight you can tell me more about Hisoi. I hold up the journal. I could write about what they were like in life.
That would be most appreciated. I knew when we first met you that...
You can see he gets like a little choked up for a second. Nods his head.
We will have a celebration tonight. You will join us.
Yes, we are going to rejoin our companions. Denigi and Sakawachi are preparing their own rites for their fallen companion.
Yes. And we will, as I have spoken, we will prepare. What we have promised for you as well. We will make ready a raft, and we will open the lock house. From what you have said, these goblins, if they are reinforcing Skywatch, it will not be safe for you to leave to the west. It might be best if you take the river north.
North it is then.
We will see you later then.
Yes, thank you for this, for the news, and we will make sure to have everything prepared in, if not tomorrow, then the following day.
That will give us time to rest then.
Yes.
Good. Right. And I will hold the tent flap open for Yara.
I will do a small curtsy to Matt, and I will leave.
As we step outside, I lower my voice to you. This has been quite a difficult journey, hasn't it?
Yes. Seems it gets more and more difficult by the day, does it not?
Well, I think there is some grace that we are able to give these people peace, however small it might be.
It is good to give others resolution. Shows that it is possible for us.
I reach down and I try to take your hand. I give it a squeeze. We will find our resolutions.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about Dronis.
Yes, me too.
Perhaps, we honor him soon.
I was thinking the same thing. Maybe tonight. It seems that, in a way, people are saying goodbyes in different ways.
We could. We wish to maybe read his letter first. Find out more?
Yes. Perhaps once we join the others.
I think that will be good. It'll give us a direction, hopefully.
I'm going to go look for Arashtak and the others.
Yes. I will join you. Let's do that.
Okay. Let's go.
And I'll squeeze your hand as well.
My hand is warm. It's so warm. Against your cold ass hands.
At least I'm not clammy, right?
True.
So, I think over the night here, we have this sort of ceremony for Pamak and Hisoi, and I think there's a bit of a contrast that happens. The Smiling Wolves are sort of celebrating the life of Hisoi, and Sakawachi and Denigi are probably a bit more solemn about Pamak. Pamak was their storyteller, the person that would be best to speak at such an event, recalling the tales of their journey here and all of their trials and tribulations, much like what you have all gone through. They've kind of had their own journey, their own sacrifices and adventure to make it here for this meet. And the Smiling Wolves camp talks about Hisoi, and there's a lot of over-the-top stories, and there's a lot of dirty jokes, and there's that really that sort of gruff but really happy feeling, I think, that you have from these mercenaries. These people perform all kinds of things for money. The Smiling Wolves appear to at least have some morals amongst any mercenaries that you might have met, just judging from their stories and whatnot. They've killed. They have made sacrifices, much like you have. They've gotten by as best as they can in this world. There's a story about Hisoi drinking too much and embarrassing themselves in front of some Brevoi nobles, and basically losing a contract that would have made the Smiling Wolves very rich. But Matt speaks up and says,
It was worth it. Nobody wanted to work with the nobles anyway. Besides, I will always look back on that memory of Hisoi as being the most vomit I have ever seen anyone throw up. I don't even know where they got that much food and drink to throw up. It made no sense, much like their magic bag. It held more than was possible.
and everyone starts to laugh, remembering these moments, and you can see people holding up drinks and drinking too much and having their own remembrances of Hisoi. But you have, all in all, a night of remembrance of Pamak and Hisoi, and you eat well, and you rest well.
Might
would like
I
to
steal away the others during all of this?
Absolutely.
Is that what you were going to do, Arcelia?
Yes, I was going to say that I take special care in chronicling this night for both celebrations, the one from Pamak and the one for Hisoi. And I journal them with as much detail as I can.
I will go up to each one of our group. Just gather them up and trying to go somewhere private for a moment. All of this remembrance that is going on has made myself and Arcelia remember a little as well. We still have Adronis's letter. We were thinking of handling his remains tonight, but it may be better to read first. What say you?
By handling his remains, do you mean to bury him?
If it is appropriate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have misled you. I meant to just review the letter together. I believe it was his wish to be brought home, right?
Yes, though there is always a chance to bring him back, albeit a costly one.
Ritual.
Exactly. Of resurrection, you need but a part of them for it, though it is not within our own capabilities.
As Orashtak is talking, I'm going to need you to make a check for me, please.
Okay.
Can you please make a will saving throw?
That is a natural one.
Okay.
The question is, do I reroll that? I don't think so. I think I'll accept it for narrative reasons.
Okay. You start to lose Orashtak's conversation here.
Perhaps we will begin to discuss.
As this happens, there is a sort of sound of something sort of grating against each other. First, you don't recognize the sound, and then it starts to make sense to you. It starts to sound like sand falling. And as Orashtak is talking, you can hear like another voice kind of droning in the distance. There is a sense of familiarity with this voice.
Do I recognize it?
No. But you think you can hear must be maintained.
Balance. What balance?
Yara says this out loud as you're talking, Arashtak. It's very strange.
Yes, that would. What? Balance? That's not usually what you do for a ritual burial. What?
The river in the distance, beyond Smiling Wolves camp and the docks, seems to stand out to you. The sounds of the river seem closer than they should be.
I go to walk closer.
Where are you going?
Well, I think we should have an elven burial.
Bad idea. Yeah.
Yo, what are you doing?
In the
I
distance,
follow Yara.
Yes.
beyond the river, Yara. Things distort, and you see a large tower.
Do I recognize the place?
You've been to that tower before, Yara. Please roll a... Oh, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got. I'm gonna make a secret roll for you.
If it's bad, use my hero points. I don't care.
I can't, not for the secret rolls. You've been to this tower before, Yara, and you cannot remember.
What does it look like?
It's dark and tall, very tall, the tallest building you've ever seen. There is a series of bridges leading across the river to this tower.
I walk towards it. I cross the bridge.
You can see Yara is about to step into the river, everybody.
Oh, nope. I will
Yeah.
grab
Yeah.
Yara and
Same, I'll
yank her
grab her.
back.
I'll grab her with us. Yara! Yara!
As they grab you, the tower fades away. The bridges leading to it disappear.
What are you doing? You were just saying, reading a letter, then you just got up and started walking towards the river. You okay? Are you fine? Are you hurt?
I heard a voice. Did you not hear it?
No.
It was my voice. I said he thinks an elven burial.
No. I didn't know who the voice was, but it was familiar. It's familiar.
What did they say?
Something about balance. There needed to be balance. And then there was a tower. It was right there. I'm not making it up.
Over there.
Yes, it was right there.
There's nothing there.
I don't see it either.
On the far side of the river,
recognized
you
it.
just see, just sort of rough landscape and the walls that encompass Skywatch.
Can I examine the patient with occultism or arcana to detect any kind of
Sure.
magical malfeasance?
Sure. Which would you like to use?
Either one, whichever is appropriate.
You pick. Okay.
Come here, look into my eyes.
All right.
Doesn't appear that there's any sort of spell on Yara that you can tell.
You seem fine. I don't like it.
Earlier you mentioned altered memories of the divine. I'd like to do a religion check, if
Sure.
possible. I think I'll re-roll it.
18. Okay. I'm rerolling.
20. I'm trying to link any gods, goddesses, more if it seems similar to the altered memories, any of that note.
Yeah. It's interesting that Yara hasn't really brought this up. But Arashtak, it starts to make a little sense to you. It sounds a lot like Yara is talking about a very prominent goddess, Pharasma. Pharasma shepherds Galarian's recently departed souls to their final reward. Upon death, souls migrate via the River of Souls to Pharasma's boneyard, which sits at the top of an impossibly tall spire that pierces the astral plane.
I relay this. Why? Are you getting visions from Pharasma?
What?
Pharasma, goddess of the departed.
Lady of the Graves, yes.
Yes. The river symbolism of the souls traversing the spire that pierces the astral plane. Does that have anything to do with the balance?
What were we talking about before?
I believe
Very
we're talking
more.
about. Yeah.
Resurrecting Adronis.
We could put a tree over the grave as an elven tradition, so that the tree, could feed on the body.
Wack. When they made mention about a balance needing to be maintained, did it feel as though I was the imbalance? Or that Adronis is?
Make a perception check.
Natural 20 for 29.
Okay. Neither. As you start to think on it, Yara, you remember that the imbalance was not caused by you. It was not caused by your sister. You remember a conversation inside the spire with Pharasma herself. Pharasma, with her ashen skin, white hair, and an hourglass resting upon her throne. Only bits and pieces. But this river being close by, conversation with your friends, begins to remind you of something that was purposefully kept from you. Pharasma said something about an imbalance. Something about a creature in the north. An alien creature that does not belong on Galarian. There's a conversation there, Yara, that you can't remember. Something about your sister. You, the Gravelands, and some sort of whale. A bargain was struck. You see Pharasma reaching towards your head. She puts a hand on the side of your head near your temple, a thumb on your forehead. Things flash white. You are in a different body. You've been sent back. What did you bargain?
I can't remember.
The balance must be maintained.
You here? We've been asking you questions all this time, and you've been staring off in space again. Do you see the tower again?
I'll touch my forehead. I'm sorry, I had a memory. It's fragmented as well. No. I had some sort of a vision that I was in the spire, in some sort of a throne room. woman who looks like me. She feels so familiar. It feels as if she... with Pharasma, but that's not possible. I wouldn't be sitting in a room with Pharasma for anything.
That is not necessarily true. The divine do sometimes intervene.
I made some sort of a bargain, apparently. You talked about the Gravelands, about my sister, about a whale, some alien creature that doesn't belong to Galarian in the north.
But that is the Black Frost whale. The one from Castravel. We were told of it. It was sealed in the ground the north.
I suppose this is a good time to ask the question. Why are you here, Yara? What made you seek out the doctor?
Well,
Balance must be maintained.
I thought it that it was my condition. Like all of us, I mean, were you not curious when you heard the rumors of the doctor?
Of course.
So, I was driven to find out more. But I do not know why I stayed. Balance must be maintained.
We should get back to the camp at least, and it's just getting colder by this water.
I'm sorry.
A conifer.
What?
A conifer, like a deciduous pine or some sort of a pine, I think.
You're talking about trees. Gotcha.
For the burial. What are you guys talking about?
Nothing. Let's get back to
Seeking
camp.
warmth.
Yes.
And to read a letter from an old friend.
Yeah. Maybe we should think on this in the morning and just finish what we were going to do, and if something like that happens again, at least we all notified that if you walk towards water, it may not be for your best interest.
I saw a bridge there. I'm sorry. It was not anything like that.
It's all right. Seems that we are all seeing different things today.
Yes, it appears so. Oh, I need a drink. And I will walk back towards the camp and procure a drink and then go back to where we were meeting.
Follow.
Join Yara by the fire.
Same. I grab a drink as well. Or have a drink in hand.
And I'll, reach into my bag. And I will pull out a letter. Technique, could you describe the outside of the letter?
Sure. It is printed on paper that was made from a distant land where we are now. This land is a land of sand. It's near Katapesh, the Rani Lake Oasis. It is a place that is ruled by a certain group of elves that are merciless and very, very, very good at what they do. So much that the neighboring powers that may be do not disturb them. They have this sort of agreement to where anybody enters the land, they have to pass through those elves to get to those areas. But trade is made. Katabesh is very known for trade, and a lot of port come in for, goods. So that paper was made by a sort of cacti tree, hammered and molded over and over again to make it, to where it's able to be dried and written on. It can survive blood, water, just the way it is. The ink is a special ink of elven tradition. This ink is beautiful. It's not something that mere quill can do. It has a shimmer when you see it in the sunlight. It has almost like how oil looks on water. It has this very interesting shimmer. The way it was folded before it was beat up was very with care and love, and it wasn't something that was just thrown into a pocket. It was in a special hidden area that Adronis had. And when the paper is open, it has this sort of silky but yet sturdy feel to it. As the glint from the fire hits the ink, you'll see that shimmer. There you have it.
He was always one for a flourish, was he not? Look at this ink.
Damn. All
Maybe
that time.
cactus.
What?
Maybe a cactus. For the tree.
Ah,
You and your trees.
I can read it, if you'd like.
please.
I think we're ready.
It is addressed to a Talia, I believe.
Is that another companion?
No. Do we recall Adronis ever mentioning someone by this name to us?
Is it Jonas' sister?
Don't know if he ever spoke it out loud, though.
If it's his sister, I think he mentioned it to Arcelia one time. Yeah, it's... I think that's his sister.
Oh. You taught me how to fight. How to take care of myself and, when in a pinch, to close off emotions and become one with the sand, per se. You also protected me from all of the looks and stares I'd get when we'd enter towns around the oasis. Even though I am half-elf, you and Mother, and the others treated and raised me with no misplacing of my feelings. I thank you for that, my dear sister. I'm bad at writing these letters. Things have been, well, interesting to say the least. I can't really remember it all, but I will come home soon to tell you and Mother of all my adventures, just like Father. Has Father ever come back yet at all? Anyway, I met a group of interesting individuals. One is a giant lizard that can cast magic. I have not yet told him, but he may want to stop washing in river water. He always has bugs around him, and I seem to itch a lot more lately. But for some odd reason, he's a master cook. I want to find out more about this one. There is this other one. she's an elf. Not like you and Mother, but one who likes to collect viscera and other weird things. Oh, that's you, Karun. I'm sure not to sleep next to that one because of her experiments. Oh, and could you teach me how to communicate through telepathy? That one shouts in my head and I try to speak back, but say things out loud all the time. You were communicating telepathically with him?
All the time.
Wow.
That would explain occasionally him yelling out of nowhere.
Yes.
Whispering, really. It's an elf thing.
Oh, and there is this large, muscular, amazing, gentle, beautiful orc. They are caring and kind. Honest. Maybe too honest at times, but when I look at them, I can't help but to just feel constant acceptance and, well, let's just say I feel as though they would do anything for me. Towering power filled with care and expressive ferocity. You'd really like them, I feel. You were the first one I met when... Well, I don't really remember what happened before I met them. There was this it's crossed out here. But I best tell you this in person, just in case the letter does not make it. There is this other one. Something is incredibly intriguing about her. Her skin is as pale as ash, hair as white as the eastern sands when the sun is right above it. She was defensive at first, guarded, but with good reason. She caught my interest. I didn't want to get too close to anyone because of what you told me, but this one in the orc really opened my heart. She saved my life, you know. Once there were all these undead, I was surrounded, and I didn't parry after I thrust and forgot my footwork. Sword got lodged in too deep and took what felt like a fatal hit. But then this blue gold light enveloped me, and I felt like I could take on the world after. Never felt something for someone as I felt was starting to brew up inside me for this one. I denied these feelings for the sake of attachments, but I felt different. I gave her a flute. Okay, fine, it was something I got off of a kill, but still, it would have had the same meaning, right? Anyway, she's something called a Duskwalker. I don't know much, but something about being resurrected. Do you think that if I ever... Look, I know you don't like me talking like this, but if something ever happened to me, do you think I would come back again? Would I be myself? Is she herself? I want to speak more with her. I often catch myself staring at her and I try not to lock gaze, but it's something with her eyes. I get lost in them. Anyway, we are getting ready to head out to some forest area for investigation, because I can't talk about it because it's top secret and stuff. Look, sis, I know you said not to have any attachments and to be prepared, because being an elf means that those around me will more than likely pass on before me. I just feel safe around them and I feel as though I want to protect them. Maybe this is what Mother meant when she said, when you are surrounded by those who are right by you, and you by them, the stars, the moon, the earth beneath your feet, the warmth from the sun itself will all feel connected. You will be grateful for the wind subtly kissing you as you walk through the leaf-blanketed forests, finding yourself smiling at just being alive in the moment with those who matter most. That, my son, is when you know the true meaning of being an elf, and have found your tribe. I know it's silly, and you always tell me to watch my back, because the moment you trust is the moment your guard is down, and that's when they try to stab you in your back. And I'll prove to you one day that maybe there are exceptions. I'll return home soon, and you'll meet them all. I miss you and Mother so much. And if you see my father, please tell him to be ready for tons of stories. And there's some smudging here. Oh, they're calling me now. More to come. I'll send this out tomorrow. See you soon, Tilia. With much love, Adronis.
I miss him.
Me too. I'll take his coin and I'll flip it. Heads.
Do you think he would wish to return? It almost seemed like he would in the letter.
And that shall be our mission for us, perhaps.
How did he? How did it happen?
I killed him.
It is far more complex than that.
Why?
He asked me to.
What? This makes no sense. It seems like he was having a breakthrough and he'd asked you to kill him.
It's a long story. He was captured and about to be tortured, and I said, would you rather me do it quickly or at the hands of this monster? So I did it.
We were
It
all
was a
captured.
sacrifice so we could leave.
He gave his life for you to live.
That's right. Who is the letter addressed to? Do we have a name and a location? Perhaps we could deliver it.
Is there any sort of location on it?
Out of character, no. You just know that the paper was made from a special cacti that only grows in the Roni oasis.
May I see the paper?
Yes. Yeah. I'll
Is it
hand
possible
over.
for me to discern the type of material?
Make a crafting roll. Can be pretty tough. 30. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It appears to be a very particular type of cactus. Where does it grow again?
Make a correct spelling, please. There it is. Listed under dead. Oh. Here you go.
For context, our character sheets are all like in a folder, and then there's a subfolder called Dead, and that's where our Jonas.
I like to keep things organized, okay?
Yeah.
Made it very easy to find.
Why not just like sleeping, slumbering, me?
He's just ahead.
He's me-meing right now, okay?
Oh, here. I'll help you with this too. There you go.
It is a Voronoi cactus.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Voronoi? A Voronoi cactus? It grows only in a very particular oasis. Katapesh.
Yeah, near Katapesh.
Do we know where this is?
It's good elven paper. Strong.
So I will take a any kind of navigation.
I probably know as a diplomat. I've had to look at lots of maps.
If anybody has been down far south, across the inner sea, then I
Not
would
I.
give you the roll. Otherwise, I will take. Oh, let's see. What can we do here?
Would society be
Society,
relevant?
yeah,
Okay.
I can do that.
yeah.
Yep.
Ooh. Okay. So.
Ooh.
Okay, so
Oh.
Arcelia and Arashtak. You've heard of Katapesh
25.
before. It is very far. It is across the inner sea. It is near the Mwangi Expanse. So, just for visual for our audience, let's bring up the map here. Give me a moment, because it's a very big map. Alright. So, where the group is now is all the way up here. Okay? In Skywatch. They started their journey from Lippstadt in the Shutterwood of Ustala over here. And way down south past Absalom, which is kind of like the equivalent of New York City in this place. It is kind of like the capital of the inner city, way past Absalom. Down south is Katapash.
Adronis is from a world away.
That is a very long journey that he took.
I believe that is thousands of miles.
Yes.
Many thousands. Probably like 3,000 miles, something like that.
Well, it's worth holding on to the letter in case we find ourselves down south.
Yes.
Yes.
For an elven recipient, years are a blink of an eye.
Hope that we're able to meet them.
Perhaps by then, maybe he will be on the journey with us.
Maybe I can make another bargain with Phrasma,
Perhaps.
About that, you mentioned a balance. If you made a bargain with Phrasma, I wonder what you gave up.
Do not quite know.
You did mention memories being altered in the memory cache. Perhaps it was knowledge of something. Family. You mentioned your sister and being unknowledgeable about things.
I mean, what could have led me to being in there is the main question, I suppose, because did I somehow transport to the boneyard? Did I die? When I was speaking to her...
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No. When I was speaking to her, I was myself. And then... she... did something. She put a hand on me, and all of a sudden I was not myself.
When you mean yourself, do you mean you now or you before death?
Me before I was a Duskwalker.
So
I am
maybe she
now
turned
something
you?
else.
Yes. The bargain was to become a Duskwalker?
Maybe it was for you to gain another chance. But instead of being free, you're there to serve until you finish your part of the bargain.
Well, I will not endeavor to piss off a god. I suppose we shall try and figure this out. Well, if she made mention of that creature in the north, perhaps it is the whale. Perhaps the second chance was to take care of that.
Yes.
Maybe that is the bargain.
But then there was something about the whale as well.
Good
There's so much I do not
news.
remember.
Well, the good news is we all have the same goal of going there anyway.
A final question. You do not need to speak on the motivations. But do you remember if you were a Duskwalker before you entered the gate?
I was not. Oh wait, actually, before I entered the gate.
Before you entered the gate.
Was I? I don't believe so, but GM, correct me if I'm wrong.
You remember clearly that you were not.
No. I was not. I was myself. I was human.
Perhaps you met her through the gate.
I hate to bring it up, but if your memories were altered, maybe you weren't human ever. Maybe you're a creation made by Pharasma. I heard that the gods can do whatever they want.
That is not a bargain, though. There'd be no need.
Created to give her life?
That's not a bargain.
Yeah. It's more of a duty.
Yes. Enter the gate. Receive something you wished for, but do not remember. And then became a Duskwalker in some sort of bargain.
Do you remember what you saw in the gate? Perhaps that's connected.
It was my sister.
Bad memories, I know, but you were unsure if she was dead or alive, correct?
I don't know now. I genuinely do not.
Did you
Well.
give your life for her to live? Your bargain is to become a tool of a god. This is not unheard of.
Maybe, I don't know.
Would you do that for your sister to live? If you
Anything,
give-
I would do anything for Vera.
I think we have our answer.
Not knowing implies contradictions in your memory. She was dead. You enter a place you do not quite remember. Make a pact. She now lives.
And as we know, as of today, words with powerful meanings behind it beyond just audible means can create things beyond our imagination.
I'm going to chug the remainder of my drink and slam it down on the table. I need sleep, I think.
I think we all can
We all
use with
do.
that.
I've
Yeah.
been looking into working on this hatchet, yes?
Yes, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, you would have had some time. I mean, the celebration was going on. He kind of went in and out. But we can say that you will have time to do this.
All right.
But I don't think it would be right now.
Okay.
I don't. If
Well-
you were kind of like all sort of getting ready to rest or whatever, we can kind of talk about how everything's reconciled if you want to do that.
Sure, let me see the hatchet and the thing, and I will take a look at it.
I believe you have it. I handed it to you earlier.
Were there any other scenes?
So you did.
Were there any other scenes here that anybody wanted to have?
No, but I would give Karun the herbs that I took from Castrovel. I've been holding on to these for you.
It smells like Castrovel.
It is.
The way that I'd like you to keep track of this stuff, I think, is we don't have to get super specific about each of the herbs. We can say that there will be various sort of levels of ingredients, okay? And you can craft whatever like level of that potion you have ingredients for. Okay, I figure that's the easiest way, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Those ones were the unique ones you gave specifically that had special effects for certain potions.
Right. These will essentially be. Do you still have the notes on that? Because I don't think I do.
I did. I posted them into the Discord.
Okay. So we can say that will be of the lesser level. So you have basically ingredients for 2 lesser level potions.
Good. I will take very good care of this.
Okay. And if everyone is sort of like heading to rest, and you want to kind of like have time to get yourself settled before you leave, it was communicated to you by Mats that based on, you know, a messenger leaving and giving you a rough amount of time, is that you basically had like another day before you should probably head out of Skywatch. So you would have like an extra day beyond this rest to kind of wrap anything up that you needed to before you left. So if people are doing any sort of crafting or what have you, you can do that here. It won't take your 21 there, Karun. You are able to set up that rune on the hatchet without much trouble with the 21. Let's stick with Karun for right now in terms of doing any crafting. What other crafting would you like to do? You mentioned the spyglass. Is that?
I would like to make the spyglass. I've been trying to make the spyglass for days.
Sure, absolutely. You have time now.
I will be crafting a spyglass.
Sure. Another crafting check.
All right, one moment.
31. Absolutely. Easy peasy. You have created a spyglass, Karun.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you still have time to do other stuff. I'd say we'll say with a 31, you craft the shit out of that spyglass very quickly.
Yeah, it's gold filigree. It looks like a very proper elven spyglass.
Anything else that you would like to craft in the meantime, or would you like to break down the elixirs that you have?
I will be breaking down the elixirs.
Okay. So you had a total of 4 elixirs that were picked up. 2 moderate eagle eyes, and what was the other one? Cheetah something? Cheetah?
Moderate cheetah elixir.
Moderate cheetah.
We have 2 of those.
Yeah.
2 moderate eagle eyes, and that's it.
Yeah. So Karun, you can potentially break those down. I'll take a crafting roll for each of those, and depending on how well you do, you will vary how many ingredients you go through to sort of reverse engineer those.
All right.
Then you can add them to your recipes.
This is the roll then for the eagle eye.
Okay, a 28. You will go through one of those eagle eye elixirs, and you can now add the moderate eagle eye elixir to your recipes.
Fantastic. And this is for the cheetah one. I will roll that again.
Okay, 16 getting rerolled. with 29. You also go through the moderate cheetah's elixir, and you learn that recipe after breaking everything down. It's going to take you the better part of the day to kind of create the spyglass, break down these elixirs, and take various breaks and things. But you have a very productive day. You get a lot done. Now you've got yourself a new spyglass. Malavik has a hatchet with the rune of returning on it, and you have 2 new recipes, the moderate cheetah's elixir and the moderate eagle eye elixir.
Fantastic, thank you.
This is not the best Karun has rolled. I just want to answer the chat. Normally I don't do that during a show, but Karun has rolled fucking crazy for crafting rolls. There is also a collapsible ladder, an extendable collapsible ladder that Karun has crafted from detritus around the ruined observatory. Okay, so some good shit.
Karun cannot help being an elf.
Yeah.
She was half pervert when she made that, but still.
This is
And
true.
I made that one when I was half pervert, so just shows you how strong the elf is.
You all have had that extra day of rest. Or anything else that you wanted to do?
Yes.
Mats has gathered, has been gathering various things for you and getting stuff set up. Did anybody else want to do anything during this day of rest?
Yes, I would like to go around and gather stories from the various smiling wolves.
Make a
And I would
diplomacy check.
also, yeah, okay. It's 20.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you've kind of shared some booze with the Smiling Wolf. There's a few that are willing to sort of be a little more open with you. I think Yorif and Yana, especially, tell you a few stories. I think there's a tale of some probably some shitty jobs that they took on that they should not have taken. I think some of the lower ranked members of the Smiling Wolves found them, and Mats was trying to be encouraging and went along with the jobs regardless of knowing that they would probably end in, well, not disaster, but they wouldn't exactly be very fruitful. And they tell tales of some of their more spectacular escapades, some of which involved some of the nobility in Brevoy, and how the Smiling Wolves have danced on the edge of... The way that Joruf described it was danced on the edge of a sword, in that sometimes they would find themselves running astray of the nobles, and sometimes they found themselves working with them. And Matt's point of view was always that
Nobles are shit to work with. They are a pain in the ass. They always ask for more than you should give them. But they do pay well.
Oh, I know all about that. I was actually trained in courtly graces. So I am actually capable of being invited to a courtly and noble function professionally. It is not my favorite thing to do. And as I talk to them, I would like to sketch them. I will reroll that 9. I rolled it into a 6.
a 9
Damn.
and a 6. Excellent. Nice.
I think what happens here is that I am just completely enamored by these people. Their stories are rich and moving, and I am just moved. I just carried away by it, and my drawings are shitty because I'm spending more time writing and chronicling their stories.
Mm-hmm. But it is a day of rest. I think while you're all kind of resting. At some point, Sakawachi would have followed up and thanked you for everything that you've done, and still expressed an interest to travel with you.
I say that it would be a wonderful idea.
Yes.
We could use the help.
It will be safer in numbers.
Ulukuk will be very helpful if we are taking this raft that was mentioned. Ulukuk will be the best to steer it. He is experienced.
Good. So are we assuming that this is a question for the storyteller? Are we assuming that everything is we are healed up completely, or do we need to do that?
So again, the way that rest works in this is that you regain a certain amount of points, but we can assume that the rest of the group would have assisted tending to your wounds and such.
Indeed.
So yeah, you can assume that you have been fully rested, and the party has hit level 5, by the way.
Yes. Glory.
I have a question for you, Wack. It is a GM discretion question entirely. As a witch, I have a thing called lessons, which are direct teachings from my patron, the Mosquito Witch. You get them at certain level ups, however, there is a very specific note on them. Basic lessons, you can select one of these lessons with a feat, or another effect grants you. Another effect is never specified. Ever.
Okay. I'll have to look into
Now,
that. I'm not going to do that right now.
That is fair. That's why I'm more noting.
Sure.
My brain would be commune and try to take a day or so to see if it can be granted, but...
yeah, I mean, I guess just send me a DM or something with the info,
Absolutely.
and I'll take a look.
For sure.
So, day passes. Following day comes around, and you can see that the Smiling Wolves have gotten together your sort of send-off. There is a raft waiting at the docks on the river. It's large, and it has been sort of loaded up with various supplies and goods and things. Let's see all the shit you got.
Treasure!
Yeah, you got a bunch of stuff.
Payday, payday, payday.
Getting my typing fingers ready.
Okay, so where is all this shit? Did I lose it? I think I did.
As everyone's handling the logistical stuff in the foreground, I am in the background just doing push-ups,
Fair enough.
working out. It's totally how you work out.
Sorry, I'm
I've
just trying
seen
to
it
find the
before.
specifics here.
I'm trying to entertain.
Celia,
Hmm.
you seem to be one with versatility in your weapons.
Yes.
Is that correct?
I am trained in many martial weapons.
When we disarmed those mercenaries, there was the great axe from Turner, I believe. It is two-handed, but if you would wish it, it is yours. Otherwise, I will continue to hold until we can pawn them off.
I think you should hold on to it. The way that I prefer to fight is to have a free hand in case I need to reach for one of my implements. I pull out the amulet.
Yes. During my preparations, and I would have asked this before we fully rested, there's a spell I have that I can use now. Basically, it gives you a magic shield upon your arm that you can raise as desired, like a normal shield without having it equipped. I would have asked if you'd like me to have prepared that for you.
Yes, thank you. You get a little smoochie on your lizard brain. This is... Oh, we should use this in battle. We do a fantastic combination. I could clock them with this shielded arm. I flex.
Well, it's more for defense than blocking.
The greatest defense is a strong offense.
Fair, I suppose. If the enemy is dead before they can attack you, that is a very good defense. But nonetheless, this will still be useful, and you have your hand free.
Yes, thank you. I will make sure they stay away from you.
Appreciated. Just ask when you wish for it. It is a once-a-day sort of thing.
Perhaps we'll come up with a special keyword for it.
Like, give me a shield?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
As the Smiling Wolves are sort of standing by the docks and you're finishing things up here, the raft has been loaded up with various stuff. On the raft, you have received from Mass a fan feather token and 2 bark skin potions, 200 gold in rare gems, 200 gold in mixed coins, and a traveler's any tool.
I'm skeptical. What is the any tool?
The any tool is a magical tool that before it's activated, it appears to be like an ash rod capped with steel on either end. You imagine any specific simple tool, and the any tool transforms into it.
And it is as effective as the real thing?
You speak of the any tool, yes?
Yes, I'm unfamiliar with it and I'm skeptical.
Try it out. See how it works.
And I hold it and imagine 9 3/4 spanner. And it appears to be...
Yes, absolutely.
And it is solid and heavy and feels like it could really work. Does anyone mind if I borrow this?
No.
I think I could put it to some good use.
Believe it is made perfectly for you and what you do.
I take it. Thank you.
Do you have any use for these other potions as well, or do you already know how to make these?
What is this? This is bark skin, yes? I could break one of these down and learn how to make it, perhaps. Given enough time.
Yeah. You should hold on to them.
Unless you'd like to sell them. It's up to you.
No, it will be invaluable if you learn them.
The smell is quite pungent. They seem perhaps a good quality.
I think.
Is it possible to discern the quality?
So there is no level to a bark skin potion. It's
Oh,
just,
alright.
Yeah, there's just the one.
Sure. It's good stuff.
So the bark skin potions, yeah, it doesn't have like a lesser or whatever. I think they just become like stone skin at a certain point. But it's considered a level 4 item.
It's really fun taking some of this stuff and trying to clip your fingernails. Can't do it.
Mats is looking to sort of see you off as you're all getting ready to load onto the raft.
I've been talking with some of the smarter wolves,
He says.
This raft will get you to Winterbreak Bay, no problem. The lake, though, has a mind of its own. If you're going west to Sarkoris, the port you will want to reach will be Egeda in Mendev, and that's a long way off. The raft is good, don't get me wrong, but you'll need something bigger to make it all the way there. There's a ship graveyard.
He waffles a little bit with his hand and says,
Not far from Winterbreak Bay. It's called the Jundland Rex. You'll find dozens of ships there, some no doubt seaworthy, enough for your voyage. Don't hate the ghost stories. Pure poppycock, I'm sure. But hey, who knows? You're good at this treasure hunting thing. Maybe you'll find more than just a ship amongst the wreckage.
As Matt mentions ghost stories, my eyes go wide, and I whisper to Kroon, I love ghost stories. I hope we see one.
We won't. Ghosts aren't real, but it's nice to pretend.
I will walk up to Matt's the first time and reach out my arm.
He's a big stupid smile on his face. You reach out your arm. He goes to hug you. And he's a strong guy. He gives you a mighty hug.
I just look back towards the group and I'm just like,
I knew you would lighten up.
I'll do 2 pats and then push them off. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It will be sad to see you go, but it was nice while you were here. Enjoy the moment. Yes?
I start rummaging through my bags. Do you wish for a parting gift?
I do not turn down gifts.
Here, I pull out a small, just container jar. This is a lizard folk tea.
It is made from lizard folk?
No, it is a tea that my people drink.
That sounds much more appetizing.
Yes, it has slight numbing effects on the tongue and mouth. It is very pleasant. From what I've heard, it does not affect my people the same as yours. Try it if you wish. It is different and unique.
Thank you for this gift. This is very kind of you.
Thank you for your help.
Of course.
So who is all going with us? Sakawachi? Is Danigi going or no?
Sakawachi, Ulukuk, Denigi, and Inuma.
Got it. Well, I don't want to keep them waiting. I'll nod my head and walk past the group to get on the raft. And extend my arm for anyone that needs help getting on.
How fast is this current?
It's not a super fast one, but yeah, it's moving.
Less than the Blood River?
Probably about the same.
Ah, okay.
It
I
would
do
most
not
likely
get
not be very good for you to swim too long in this river. It's very cold.
Ooh, yeah, definitely wouldn't go then.
But it's not made of scary blood, so...
No.
Neither was the Blood River. That was...
It was
those are
iron.
minerals.
I knew. I remember rolling
it's
well.
still up for debate whether it was blood or not.
Blood does have
Science is
iron in
out,
it.
really.
I will give Max a hug.
He
Please
gives you
be
a,
safe.
he gives you a kind hug back. And he
It
says...
was good to meet you.
Yes, it was good to meet you as well. I am glad to have met other mercenaries that seem to have scruples.
You will do well.
Of course. That is what the Smiling Wolves are all about. We always do well!
And everybody sort of throws up a hand. And
I throw out my hand as well. Yeah! And then I
there's
will...
various like howling around the wolves. And Matt's sort of has a foot on the raft. Is everybody loaded on?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm on the raft.
Yeah. With a smile and a wink, he helps shove the party's raft off from the docks. And the Smiling Wolves wave. And the communal howl goes up as you begin to sail away from
As-
Skywatch.
As we're pushing away, I will say to the others looking back, in another life, I think I would have wanted to stay with people like them.
Not to be said for humans who would rather be something else. I like them.
Well, don't fall in.
You see the gates of the lock house open as you pass through, heading north to the lake of mists and veils.